My goodies, my goodies, my goodies, not my goodies.
Okay, this is the scoop on getting through IB History 2 / learning from Asante's experiences, because that was just crazy. Do not wait to work on your IA. Do not. Okay? Get started on that stuff now. Okay, here's what I did. I was going to do it over winter break, of course, because that would be very good, but I didn't get around to it. And then, like 2 weeks before it was due, I'd been looking at some books that I was going to read, so I checked those out from MLK. Which, if you can't find something in MCPS, check out DCPS MLK Library, because they have very good resources there, and you can check out a lot of reference material. But I did that, and then I didn't get to reading it, and then a week before it was due, I was like, okay, let's start working on this. Like, if I work, like, for the whole week on it, like, it'll probably be fine, right? No. Thank goodness it snowed, like, the whole week before the IA was due. Like, from Tuesday to Friday, school was out. And, like, the moment I would wake up till the moment I went to bed, I would be like working on just like reading the sources and taking notes, and it took me like the whole day for like 5 days. So like it really does take like the 30 hours like that it's supposed to take. I just spent the 30 hours like in a week. So do it early and you won't have to do that. It's like writing the paper like 2 whole days and like turning it in like 1:55 because it was due at like 2 in the morning. So I mean like I got a good grade on it, but you know, probably not the best thing, not the best strategy to use. But yeah, do not procrastinate. I mean, if it hadn't snowed like the whole week before, I would have been like up the creek. So and that probably won't happen again. So get on it. Alright, tip number 2, you don't actually have to cut. You don't actually have to study all that stuff that you learned last year. What? Yeah, I know. Because everyone says like paper 3 is what you learned in 11th grade and paper 1 and 2 is what you learned in 12th grade, but that's actually not true because there's plenty of stuff on the paper 3 that is from the Cold War and from World War I and World War II. And that is what you study this year. So I would highly recommend not wasting your time going back and studying things that you've long forgotten about. Like Congress of Vienna stuff. Like, it's just not going to happen. So what happened with me was I, like everyone else, thought that you had to study the stuff from last year. So I was like trying to study Italian unification because they're like, Italian unification is always on the test, and like Russian Revolution because that was from last year, and like I'd been interested in that, and I was studying that stuff. And then I was looking over some of the test questions on the test, and I was like, wait, this is stuff that I learned this year. Like some of it had to do with the Cold War, which we had just covered. So I'd been writing an essay about the Russian Revolution and got halfway through it and realized I didn't know what I was talking about and just like switched to doing one about World War I, and like it went so much better. For my questions, I did the effect of the policies of Glasnost and Perestroika, which were Cold War policies, which I had literally written about the day before on paper 2. And then I did one that said like the domestic policies of Hitler, like before 1936. And then I did one that was the effect of the Great Depression on one European country, and I used Germany, rise of Hitler, boom, booyah, IB history test, what now, in your face. So I would study the things you learned last year only insofar as they connect to the material you covered this year. So last year you did learn some about the rise of Hitler and fascism, but I wouldn't go back and study anything like Italian unification or something isolated like that. because the people who did study Italian unification saw the test and saw that Italian unification was required to be compared to German unification, and because they hadn't studied the time period, they didn't know about German unification and couldn't answer that question on the test and were blown. To do a good analysis, you have to know like the causes of whatever the event was, and then the effects of the event, and how the feelings at the time contributed to the actions of the leaders, and how it connects with other things around it. So you're really going to be able to do that better for the 20th century anyway. So that's my advice. I'm sure you guys have heard all about time management and taking notes in class and not waiting until the last minute to do your reading, so I don't need to tell you about that. And what up to all my homies in class of 2012? Yeah? Nephew? Well, see you guys later.